guests, ladies and gentlemen, our programs at stage 2 will begin in 5 minutes, so please be seated. And please remember to turn your mobile phone into silent mode. If you require simultaneous interpretation services, please scan the QR code on the program booklet or at the entrance of the stage. Then you can use your mobile phone for the SI service via your headphones. Thank you very much.
好，欢迎大家莅临由万象区块链实验室、HashKey Group 和水 Foundation 联合组织的2025香港 Web3 嘉年华之智链万物 AI 与 Web3 的共舞主题论坛。我是今天的主持人牛英英，大家好。Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI and Web3 session of the Hong Kong Web3 Festival 2025, organized by Wanshan Blockchain Labs, HashKey Groups, and Shui Foundation. My name is Avira Yao, and it is my absolute honor to be your MC for today. 那么在这里，我们将共同关注人工智能和 Web3 的发展遇到的挑战和机遇。我们非常荣幸邀请到业内的顶尖专家，他们为大家带来精彩的演讲和研讨。那么希望在今天的讨论中，大家可以深入交流，共同推动人工智能和 Web3 的发展。In this coming sessions, we have industry experts to share with us their insight and expertise on artificial intelligence and Web3. And now, without any further ado, we're going to kickstart our programs with our first keynote presentation. Start a Gen AI journey with Byte+ model art. And without any further ado, I would like to invite Joe Zhang, Regional Director, Byte+ HMT, to come up on stage to share with us. Let's welcome Joe.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. I just see the audience here. Are you prefer in Chinese or English? Either is okay. Chinese? Or Chinese? Or anyone prefers English? Okay. And then I will stick to English then. They will have the subtitle for the Chinese and everyone can get it. Thank you. So, my presentation today is talking about the Gen AI, and just to give you a short introduction of ourselves, Byte+. So basically, we are the our technology arm under ByteDance, and we are providing technologies including the cloud services, including big data solutions, and also we provide the LLM Gen AI capabilities to all the different industries, of course, including Web3. And here, just to show a little bit about the journey that we've been working with so many different enterprises and startups, and what they are doing in terms of leveraging large language model, and what's the development nowadays to help them to transform their business or help them to do better performances by leveraging the large language model. So just a quick background here is like we provide a large language model, and it's been developed since 3 years ago, and it's been growing fast since last year. So you can see from the second half of last year, actually, in terms of the LLM consumptions on our side, it's been dramatically increased a lot, and it reached to 4 trillion tokens per day. And we enable a lot of different use cases. For example, there are manufacturers that are saying that actually by leveraging the large language model, they can get better insights from the social network and to get better understanding what all the users or the massive audience, what they are talking about in terms of their cars. And they can get feedback and immediately. And for the others, like there are so many other scenarios as well. Like there are companies help them to build AI agents to help their customer services. So imagine when you do the customer services, you get a customer support assistant. It's not human, but it's more way better services than the human. So that helps a lot from many different use cases. And from us internally, actually, we also enable lots of different applications under ByteDance to adopt the LLM strategies from many different use cases. It could be content creation, It could be e-commerce, or it could be customer support, it could be something else, learning, and as well. So many different cases. And before we actually introduce our solutions to the B2B sector, actually we already practice internally and make sure that we have the best of breed quality, and also we have the most sophisticated use cases verified by ourselves. So nowadays, everyone is talking about LLM, everyone is talking about AI agent. Then what does the AI agent can help in the really daily work, day in, day out? And fundamentally, we do believe there are two factors has to be on the foundation side has to be met first. One is the cost. So if you want to use the technology on a massive way and also want to launch the technology to your productions, you have to look at the ROI perspective. And the cost, of course, is one fundamental factor. And from us, we reduced the cost since last year significantly by leveraging the large scale we have and also the technology that advanced we have to reduce the cost as much as possible. On the other side, and the performance is also very important. Imagine you definitely have used a lot of different applications. Maybe it's ChatGPT, maybe it's DeepSeek or the others. Sometimes you feel, okay, you ask a question, it took a lot of time to respond. And sometimes you even get a server error response. So that's not good experiences. It's not meant for the production. It's not meant for you have that kind of level of service open to your end users. So from us, the traffic speed, how to ensure the stability, and also when the multiple users, dozens of thousands or millions of users using it, everyone is running a high-speed response, then that's also critical. But these are all the basic things to start thinking, okay, maybe LLM or Gen AI can help you with something. And from us, we have a large language model family. It's called Doubao. And from this diagram, actually, you can see it's not just about language model. It's also about the voice. For example, it could be text-to-speech or speech-to-speech. And even to a certain degree, it's higher than the voice, than the speech. It could be music. And besides the language model, there are also the visions. For example, you can imagine the large model can help you to generate images, help you to generate videos. And also, furthermore, it can leverage the camera to understand, visually understand what you are looking at and help you to start some fascinating use cases from that. That's could be very interesting. So from us, it's like, okay, we have so many different capabilities. How to use that, how to make it real, and how to make it like a super, to make it more attractive to the end users, then that's a question. And for the next few slides, I just show you some of the examples. We are now working with many different partners and to leverage different capabilities, to leverage the LLM itself for a better user experiences. And imagine, these are all the basic capabilities, and it's free in terms of combine them together for different purposes. And hopefully these can be an inspiration for everyone to think about your use cases. Maybe some of the existing use cases could be changed, or some new use cases could be invented. So firstly, it's about the core part, the LLM Pro, Doubao Pro. So here, just a few examples, like for the LLM itself, it has to be intelligent enough. Imagine if you gave a mathematical question to him, whether it can answer the questions quickly and accurately, give you the precise answer, and also give you the thinking process, the thinking logic behind it. That's very critical for some of the complex tasks. So for some of the works, imagine it's a customer services or it's a crypto exchange platform, and user would ask some basic questions about crypto knowledges, and maybe it's also about some trading informations. And for those, it could be very simple and could be very complex. And you need to have a very intelligent brain to process those information, to get an intention from the real user and provide the precise answers to them immediately. So that's fundamentally the core part. And imagine this is the brand. Then besides the brand, think of the use cases. It could be like a personal assistant powered by AI. In the car, you probably would want to ask the AI assistant, okay, what's the best route to the exhibition center, and how to get the what's the best place for the lunch today, etc. And on the crypto applications, maybe you want to ask what happened during the night. When I wake up at 8 a.m. today, what happened in US? What did Trump say? And what does that mean in terms of the tradings? So those informations, that's the use cases. You can leverage the brand to give it to you. But that sounds too simple, right? It's just a chatbot, and maybe more smarter than before, but sounds like it's boring. And imagine you just give it a little bit more imagination by leveraging the other large language model capabilities. For example, here is the text-to-image capabilities. You give the descriptions to the model. You give the imaginations to the model. Model will surprise you with the high quality output. It could be a picture. It could be an informative diagram for some trading information, for example. Or it could be a poster images to talk about maybe another event in the afternoon. So that's all possible. But still, static image, would that be good enough? Probably not. We want something like you have a brand, and then you have a face, and whether it can be movable, and whether it can talk to different persons. For example, here we are talking about, we are speaking English, and everyone is listening the real-time translation in Chinese. Imagine globally, so many different languages, so many different language speakers, and whether you can communicate to them very easily without any hurdle. Then
大家好，欢迎回到我的
Hey
频
everyone,
道。
welcome back to my
这是
channel.
开
This
始
Here's
is
an
Happy.
example
Just
to
here
show you
we're
the
going to chat
case.
about
自我
how to
介绍。
introduce yourself
今
in
天
the
我
job
们讨
interview.
论用英
Today
语
we're
自
going
我
to talk
介
about
绍。
how to just
大家
introduce
好
yourself in，
我叫
English.
Kat。
So, imagine that's one of the example that we enable the image to be a real person look like. We call it digital human. And also it can speak different languages. It can sing a song and even make a dance. So that's the visual things. You can start looking, okay, you have an intelligent brand, and then you have the, besides the text-based chatting, then you can look at the AI agent like a more real human. And then we just talk about the brand, the voice, the outlook, and then imagine as a person, it has to be given some personalities, characters, and it can be different roles. For example, here is just a gaming game example, but imagine the other places. It could be a KL, which is very talking in a very attractive way, or maybe it's just a news reporter. He has to talk in a very formal way. So that's different characters, and how actually the large language model can give you the possibilities to define different characters, to make the AI agent really play like that characters. That's also important. That gives you the real feeling, okay, this is more close to the real human.
警探先生，我们刚刚接到报案，一位收藏家在举办私人聚会时不幸遇害，请您火速赶往现场。
你们3个嫌疑人各自说一下时间线吧。
And
我
then
进去的时
you
候
can
是
talk
16
to
点
them,
30分，看到
talk
13
to the
大
AI
道
agent in
我是
real
第二个
time
进去
without further
时间应
delay.
该是16点。
That's also
我
very
是第一个
critical.
进去的，
So
但我不记
if
得
you
是几
imagine
点
you
了。
talk to
你紧张什么？
GPT or
没
with
没
the other
没什么。
like
单独约
chatbots,
见布鲁斯。
it's
您找我有什
loading
么事吗？
and
你
it's
和布莱
when
尔
you
的家
have
人
to
有关
wait
系吗？
for a
我
moment.
不认识什么布莱尔。
then
我
that
说的
breaks
是他
the
的家人，
experiences.
不要撒谎。
So
好吧，
real-time
我承认我认识布
conversation
莱尔
is
太
also
太。
你有
critical. And then, lastly, I just mentioned about the vision. Like imagine a real that digital human can see you, can see what you are looking at. Here are some examples like there's an education exam, there's a mathematical questions, or here there's a menu in different languages. You want to have a better understanding of it. And here is, okay, based on the image, I want to write an article. I want to promote it on the social networks. How to do that? So basically, it starts with the visual understanding. The large language model can see by itself and intelligently acting help you to accomplish some tasks, very complex tasks. So here, just to give you some examples like imagine LLM itself, large language model. It has the brain, it has the voice, it has the human characters inside. And also you can generate different style of person, digital humans, to acting like a real person. That's more advanced. That's more like a human being. That's a better way in terms of interacting. And imagine you can have that in different places and as a personal assistant or as a very intelligent worker for your daily work, or even some of the other aspects. Imagine you build an application, then you have to do the coding. Then it can also help you to do the coding as well. So it can do lots of things. And and also makes you feeling it's more human. And lastly, just to wrap up here and give you a few examples like how the digital human powered by LLM can power the interactions nowadays.
Thank you all for your attentions to this Byte Plus AI keynote session. Welcome to drop by at our booth at EO3 or scan the QR code.
Thank you all for your attentions to this Byte Plus AI keynote session. Welcome to drop by at our booth at EO3 or scan the QR code.
You can try to talk to them. It's more smarter than you
Thank
can
you
imagine.
all for your
Thank you for. Oh. Thank you for your
All
time.
right. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Joe, for walking us through the Gen AI journey with Byte Plus. 那么下一个环节主题是 AI 加 Crypto 双引擎驱动中国开发者掘金全球市场。那么现在我们有请 CSDN 战略副总裁严辉先生来到台上进行分享。我们掌声有请严先生。
好，谢谢大家。我今天的演讲题目呢是 AI 加 Crypto 啊。那我来自于全球最大的华人开发者社区CSDN。那 CSDN 呢，我今天呢首先呢，我想就是跟大家分享，就是开源其实整体在驱动整个技术的 AI 技术的一个发展的一个大的浪潮。我们都知道，开源模型从 DeepSeek 的火热到阿里的 QWQ 32B 的这样的一个模型，包括Google 的 Gemini 前2天大家也看到了，就是 Llama 4也发布了新的开源模型。所以整个的开源模型由于整个 AI 模型由于开源，使得整个生态变得更加繁荣。那更多的开发者可以围绕这样的生态呢，去做更多的、更低成本的更具有创新性的应用。所以我们认为说，开源它不仅仅是一个技术共享，更重要的它是一个全球协作的这样的一个催化剂。随着 DeepSeek 的火热，大家看到各种生态，然后各种全球的一种 AI 的发展变得更加的火热所有的人都在利用 DeepSeek 做各种各样的事情包括 CSDN。那除了模型的开源模型的开源的发展 之外呢，实际上我想跟大家分享，就是整个 AI 的编程工具已经产生了巨大的革新。它从整个代码的生成到全流程的提效，一直都在做。大家也看到前2天有一个新闻，就讲 Cursor 这样一个产品，大家10几个人的团队，大概做到了接近10亿美金的估值就是为什么？因为有了大模型的支持，加上了整个工具的创新，使得整个的开发者的群体变成了更大范围的扩张。那除了 Cursor 之外，那像 Windsurf。以及这个去也是刚才那个就是头条系的做的这样的一个产品同时 CSDN 自己呢，其实我们也做了面向开发者的这样新一代的编程工具，像 Xcode 这样的产品。其实它本质上是为什么我认为是一个巨大的进步呢？是因为原来我们编程你要从最基础的学起，但是由于大模型的能力的提升呢，使得我们没有编程能力，甚至产品经理，甚至设计师都能够变成一个开发者变成能够创作整个产品的这样的一个有能力的这样的一个人。所以呢，整个这种 AI 编程工具的革新，使得整个开发者的群体有了一个巨大范围的扩张。我们可以看到，国外围绕着这一类的，像 Cursor、Windsurf， 他们的估值是非常非常的高的就是很小的一个团队利用模型的能力，然后加成工程化的这种优化就产生了大量的帮助整个生态里头很多原来他自己可能不是一个开发者，但是他有产品的能力，他有想法，他有 idea， 他就可以利用这个快速做出一个产品出来。我们看到有人拿这个东西去做游戏，有人拿它去做各种的工具，做 Chrome 的插件，做各种网站所有的这些东西都使得整个开发者的群体的定义已经产生了明显的变化。现在包括像 Google 的技术的负责人都在讲说我们接下来有一种未来的变化叫 Weber， 就是畅想式的编程。什么叫畅想式编程？就是说我想到一个什么东西，我就跟他去说，然后他就能帮我编程。我看到一个界面，我想让他怎么去改，他就能够怎么去改。我也在这个过程当中跟大家分享我个人的经历。其实我在 CSDN 做了很多年从负责内容、产品到运营，但唯一呢，我不是一个开发人员当然我之前也创业过你创业的时候最大的一个痛点是什么？你需要找到一个技术合伙人，跟你一起把你的想法变成一个现实，对吧？这是最难的一件事情但是现在可以说，你只要有个想法，利用现在的创新的这种 AI 编程的工具，你自己就能变成个1人公司，你自己就可以去做相应的这种创业所以我呢，在去年开始公司在做 Xcode 这个产品的时候呢，我就把自己从一个产品经理的角色变成了一个产品创造者的角色。我自己差不多写了几10个应用包括我还写了一些应用是上架苹果的 App Store。那我是一个从来不会写什么这个纯代码的这样的一个人员，但是由于有了这些工具的存在，我竟然可以把我的应用上架到应用市场。我甚至有的朋友他有一些需求，我帮他去做，还能赚一点小钱当然了，在这个过程当中，我觉得最大的是释放了每一个人的想象力，就是我们每一个人其实都有自己的想象力，我们都有自己在使用一个工具的时候，觉得这个工具不一定符合我的需求，怎么办？强烈推荐大家去，如果大家是个开发人员，当然你必须要去用了，因为在美国已经出现了公司里头不停地在裁减开发人员。为什么？因为一个开发人员的生产力已经超过了10个开发人员的生产力使用这样的工具。那对于没有编程过经验的人，我其实也给大家建议，比如说在我使用里头，我的建议是 Windsurf， 它的工程化是做的最好的，因为这家公司原来做了大量的代码级的工程化的东西，所以你给他说一个命令，他出的代码是最好的。所以 Windsurf 呢适合初学者，但是呢 Tree 呢现在免费，也就是它里头 Cloud 的模型大家可以免费使用的，所以 Tree 呢是免费的这样一个产品。Cursor 呢适合相对专业一点的开发人员，它的整个上下文以及整个代码库的整个模型做的是比较好的，所以这是 Cursor。那 Xcode 呢也是整个 CSDN 的这样产品，大家也可以尝试去用，尤其我们把整个项目的部署和发布做成一件式的，所以也都是很好的产品。所以在座的如果对有想法、 有一些创想能力，强烈建议大家去用一下啊。那除了这个之外，如果说我没有用过编程工具，但是我也有一些想法怎么办啊？事实上，围绕着这些大模型之上，还有一系列的产品在出来。这个东西叫做快速原型的工具，也就是说，它面向的是更加小白的、更加没有编程经验的这样的一类人。这些产品呢，比如像Wordcell 出的 V0.dev 的产品，像 Botnew、像 Sim.dev 这样的产品呢，整体都获得了非常高的这种 revenue。大家知道，就是像Botnew 这家大概是推出3个月就大概几千万美金的这样的，为什么？因为它使得开发这件事情、创造产品的能力变得更加的简单和易用了。啊，当然这些产品呢，一般来讲都是 Web 版的，也就是你直接输一个命令，它背后呢调用一系列的 agent， 调用大模型，然后它把整个代码的生成和部署全部封装化了。也就是它跟前一页讲的开发编程工具呢有一点区别，编程工具主要核心呢还是去做代码的生成和整个工程的管控，但是像快速原型工具是直接让你快速的能够生成一个网站，并且自动化的进行部署。为什么能做到这样呢？就是因为在整个开发的生态里头有各种系列的工具，像这个 Wordcell 也好，像这种Netlify 也好，像 Supabase 这样的产品，使得项目的发布、数据库的管理都变成了一个标准的接口，而且可以通过 MCP 和整个工程的进行统一化的部署。所以这些东西呢，也使得我们有机会让每个人的想法和创意啊。那 CIDN 有一个大的口号叫“赋能1亿开发者”。那这1亿开发者并不指的是专业的开发者，事实上每一个人可能都有机会成为一个创造产品的开发者。而这个时候，新时代由于大模型的出现，由于这种创新工具的出现，使得我们有机会去试。所以我也强烈的建议大家可以去用一下这样的产品，确确实实非常的好。不同的产品它们的定位不太一样，比如像 Sim.dev， 它呢主要的核心能力是克隆一个产品。就是你看到任何一个网站，你输进去，它自动很快的给你把整个网站全部复制一份儿，就是代码全复制一份儿。而 Botnew 呢，它强调的是整个流程的优化。而像 V0dev 呢，因为它背后背靠着Wordcell这样的一个部署平台，所以它的核心是能够快速的给你生成不同的部件，啊，所以我整个里头呢，个人可能用个半个小时，你可能就能做一个产品，啊，而且呢，未来产品经理、设计师会变成新一代的创造者，啊，好。那除了前面呢，大概是面向开发者的这样的一系列工具，但事实上大家知道 Manus 这样的产品出现了一个全新的现象。Manus 它其实是面向 C 端的整合 agent 的这样的一些平台，啊，那 Manus 出来之后呢，事实上一下子让大家打开了说，原来大模型还可以这样去用。所以呢，很快大量的 Manus 这样的复制品也出现了。大家可以知道，像 FlowVisit， 这也是一个很好的一个产品啊。包括今天的整个 PPT， 实际上我也借用了这样的一些工具来进行使用。另外呢，像这个国内做的比较好的 AI 的搜索引擎叫 Meta 搜呢，它的核心的逻辑背后，它也整合了一个叫动态网站的这样的机制，其实也借用了 Manus 这样的技术逻辑。当你去搜索一个问题的时候呢，它可以把这个问题最终给你生成一个动态的可交互的这样的一个网站，所以大家也可以尝试去用。我最后的这个页面其实就是用 Meta 搜去生成的，我们把一些抛给它，因为它背后的搜索引擎的能力比较强，而整体呢，所以使得我们面向 C 端的整个 AI agent 的逻辑变成了一个全新的，我前2天大家可能也看到，有一个产品叫 JSpark 最近刚刚非常的火，它是由百度的那个团队出来做的这样一个产品，它也是仿的 Manus 的整个逻辑，因为大家把 Manus 大家知道网上其实给破解了嘛，大家知道 Manus 怎么做的，就是调用一系列的工具进行串流，然后不停的把它生成，最后通过一个模板的机制把一个结果呈现出来。其实它就是借用了各种各样的工具，把它利用 agent 工作流把它串起来，啊，但是 它改变了人们对 AI 对工具使用的一个全新的模式，所以使得整个生态呢有机会让就是我觉得尤其对中国的开发者来讲，因为中国的开发者是做应用是我们的优势，而海外呢，当然它有大量的基础设施、大模型投入更大精力，可能中国开发者没有能力。但是 Manus 面向个人端的整个 agent 的发展，开启了一个全新的纪元，所以大家也非常可以关注这样的叫 AI agent 的一个面向 C 端的这样的一个破局。那当然了，我们也看到，随着 Manus 的火爆，事实上大量的快速的开源也在紧密地跟上。所以像 OpenManus 这样的产品，这个产品其实原来团队是叫 MetaGPT 的一个团队做的，他们大概号称5个人用了3个小时吧，还是3个人用了5个小时，就对3个小时就复刻了这 OpenManus。但事实上呢，它其实还是蹭了这个 Manus 的概念，在整个的逻辑上，它还是一个偏向于开发者的这样的一个逻辑。也就是说你要去 GitHub 上去拉下代码来，然后去调配配置出来，它的使用性还是不够强的。但是呢，可以证明开源生态的社区变化是非常快，跟得非常紧。像 Camera AI 的 All， 包括像也是头条系，大家可以看刚才前一个演讲了，基本上 AI 的所有东西他们全做一遍，所有新的产品他们也都在跟。所以像 Agent Task 也是一个仿这个 OpenManus 这样的一个开源的产品大家都可以去用。但现阶段呢，这些产品都有一定的缺陷，但是没有关系，因为开源本质上代表的是社区的进入和整个生态的构建你纯闭源的产品呢，你其实是做一个很好的商业模式，但是开源使得开发者的生态变得更加的繁荣和更快的演进。所以这个我觉得是整个开源的这样的一个力量。那除此之外，大家也看到了，就是 MCP 是现在最火的这样的一个产品，或者最火的这样定义。它从去年11月份，像 Cloud 推出了这样的一个 MCP 的标准化协议之后，那一开始呢，只是像 Cursor 呀、像 Windsurf 像微软的这个 Visual Studio 这样的工具呢去接入，到后来有大量的厂商、大量开发者去做 MCP 的这样的接口的服务，然后直到前2天 ，OpenAI 宣布兼容 MCP， 意味着未来大模型和真实世界的交互变成了现实，意味着未来大模型驱动整个生态变成了有了一个中间的粘合剂，所以 MCP 一定是今年很重要的一个叙事。一定是未来真实的能落地的这样的一个场景。我们可以看到，第一个是大家观察到的，就是一个3D 建模的，你用自然语言通过 MCP 就可以快速的进行3D 的建模。第二个呢，是我们知道像 MCP 这样大量的聚合型的网站，现在已经有几千个。事实上，如果大家注意的话，每天都在有几千个这样的规模在增加，有大量的 MCP 服务在进行整合和推出来，而且在 Web3 的领域也已经有人做 MCP 加上 Web3 的逻辑在进行演进，所以任何关注整个 AI 发展的人一定不能忽视 MCP 这样的一个标准化的协议，以及围绕着 MCP 协议的生态的构建，这里头是有很多的商业机会，也就是从原来的 API 到 OpenAI 提的 Function Call， 然后到现在的 MCP， 整个生态的构建变成了更加贴近于落地，更加贴近于把各种独立的服务进行串联，中间透过大模型进行闭环。所以，希望大家一定要关注整个 MCP 的这样的一个协议。那我们认为未来所有的应用都会被 Agent 的重构刚才前一位演讲嘉宾已经讲了，大厂它一定会做超级的应用所有的应用他们全会做一遍。所以呢。这是一个大的趋势，所以对中国的开发者来讲，实际上在国内去卷应用，实际上机会是很小的，当然，第二个呢，就是大家也认为所有的 SaaS 服务通通都被 Agent 全部做一遍，也就是未来是 SaaS 会被 Agent 来全部替代，这个也已经大家看到趋势。第三个就是很多创新的围绕 Agent 的这样的一个模式呢，会有创新的场景，像 Manus， 包括前一段像 OpenAI 推出的自然语言修图，对吧？我们发一张图，我希望它改成什么，我就跟它去交互就行了，完全把设计师、把这个美工 这个职业可能就没有了。这个是真真实实发生的，就是我们经常可以看到 AI 的发展，它把一个职业的人员消失。其实很早我们就会说，啊，它会消失，然后等等等等等等，它一定会在某一个时刻，随着某一个产品的诞生，它就真实发生了。所以我们认为 AI agent 其实上是有多层面的革命的啊，不管是大厂也好，还是 SaaS， 还是未来创新的场景，都会被全部的重构。那我站在 CID 的角度，我们去认为说 AI 持续进化呢，开源还是一个非常重要的基石，因为开源模型，事实上大家认为在引导整个的生态的发展。第二个呢就是工具，第三个呢就是整个的服务。那我们认为就是新基建降低了 AI 加 Web3的这样的门槛之后呢，主要是因为工具，然后实际案例，还有市场的教育。那当然 AI 加 Web3其实也有大量的场景，这个东西呢，我觉得所有做 Web3的大家都在做了啊。那站在 Setting Global 的逻辑呢，是让我们在做一件事情，就是从 Web2我们要带大量的开发者进入到 Web3的生态，然后中间呢我们会有一个 Web2.5的这样的一个逻辑。那么如何去做呢？我们会有整个开发者的培训呐，跟 Virtuals 啊，像 Elisa 这样建立一些生态的合作。我们希望未来通过 Setting Global 的服务，然后带动上百万的开发者进入到 Web3的生态进行出海，啊，那这个呢 ，A 加 Open Network 呢是 Setting Global 和 TouchKey Totalization 共同孵化的一个项目，是一个 AI 加 Web3的一个项目，帮助开发人员或者帮助所有的人能够创建 agent， 并且把 agent 呢就是 tokenization 货币化发射出来。所以这个项目欢迎大家也关注我们的项目，我们在那边有展台啊，大家可以去关注我们的生态。所以最后呢，我想跟大家去讲，就是双引擎驱动 AI 加 Web3，我觉得确实开启了整个开发者的黄金时代，啊，其中包括我们大家一起做的 A 加 Open Network、CID Global 整个帮助开发者出海，以及整个 AI 技术的进展，大家一起来学习，去进步。好，我的演讲结束了，谢谢大家。
好，感谢颜辉先生的分享。So moving on, we're going to have a keynote presentation on the topic of permissionless capital markets, key trends from Google Cloud Web3. And without any further ado, I would like to invite Devin Mitchum, Principal of Cloud Web3 Strategies and Partnerships, Google Cloud, to come up on stage and share with us. Should we give a big round of applause and welcome Devin?
Hello, everybody. Good morning. So my name's Devin Mitchum. I'm part of the Google Cloud Web3 team here, and that's a real pleasure to speak here today. So in 15 minutes, I'm going to explain some of the top themes that we're seeing in Web3. Maybe just a quick show of hands. Has anyone here been in the crypto space for the past maybe 10 years or so? Okay, I see a few hands. Okay, any hands here familiar with MEV? Okay, one or two. How about agents? Anyone here building with agents in Web3? Okay, great. Excellent context. So I'm going to cover today some of the themes we're seeing. Just a quick background. So in terms of Google Cloud Web3, we have decades of experience in the capital markets space. From our global network to the data-driven insights platforms that we have and AI tooling, as well as our Web3 division, where we've been building and partnering with some of the top foundations in this space. And what I'd like to really get into is, if anyone has their phones, we have a QR code here, but we recently launched the Google Cloud Web3 portal, where we outline some of the tools and services that we have in the space, and you can learn a little bit more in terms of some of the services that we offer. Now, the Google Cloud Web3 faucet is also something that we recently launched, where if anyone wants to get a drip from a popular protocol, you can go here, enter your Ethereum account or your Story IP address, and get a drip straight from Google. Now, some of the themes I want to cover today are across order flow and how it's really been evolving, especially the past year. There's some interesting trends here in terms of the infrastructure challenges that I'm going to walk us through. We're also seeing some trends when it comes to composable finance, and really what this means for the world of intents, agents, and trusted execution. So let's talk about this, right? So we have a spectrum of markets. You have the world of think I have a laser pointer here. Yeah, so we have the world of regulated exchanges, right, where you have stock exchanges run by either national exchanges. You have settlement networks. These are all permissioned infrastructure running inside traditional co-location facilities. And then you also have the rise of permission exchanges. These are maybe centralized crypto exchanges or off-chain order books or off-chain L1s. And then these are typically built with enterprise-grade designs. Again, co-location facilities with dedicated hardware really optimized and fine-tuned for settlement. But on the right, we have permissionless markets, and this is something entirely new. These are built on untrusted networks. They're decentralized, and they're often adversarial, where entities do not trust one another. And what I'm going to really get into in this talk is the bottom portion, where in the world of permission exchanges, you have incredibly fine-tuned hardware where settlement occurs, but in blockchains, settlement still occurs, even though there's a lot of economic warfare and a lot of adversarial actions happening on chain. Now, a traditional exchange typically designed like this. You have a common bus, you have matching engines, you have order books, you have pricing engines that all settle to this common multicast core for settlement. But in the world of public blockchains, well, these are actually built different. Okay, these are something that actually settle over different periods of time. Why is that? Because you have the crypto economic security and all the mechanisms that need to occur for these blockchains to settle and lock in that value. And popular chains like Bitcoin take around 10 minutes to settle every single block, 10 minutes. Where other chains like Ethereum, every 12 seconds you have a new block. Some of the more modern chains, Solana, Aptos, Sui, and others, these settle under 1 second. Now, zooming into Ethereum, I'm not going to read all this on the slide here, but Ethereum as a chain itself is quite interesting. It's optimized for diverse specializations in terms of this on-chain settlement. However, the block validation in terms of who builds those blocks, it's meant to be democratized and very simple, such that anybody can run a validator. And typically what this means is there's a wide diversity of the types of software you can run for these chains. There's different rise of order flow and block building, and this gets incredibly specialized, and there's a lot of interesting opportunities here. But this is something I'm going to dive into a little bit here, because from a cloud perspective, we work with a lot of partners to really optimize this order flow and block building task. And then the last part, when it comes to validators and economic security, this port, again, is something that we offer in terms of managed services, but also an area that's constantly evolving. Now, my next slide here is actually going to get into this challenge here. Does anyone here like memes? Okay, we got a couple meme lovers here. So this is a pretty popular meme from the Flashbots team where, let's see if this works. There we go. Okay, so with this meme is really explaining the concept in Ethereum where every 12 seconds a block is built. Within that 12 seconds, there's a lot of competition to get your transaction into the next Ethereum block. Okay, has anyone here tried a transaction on Ethereum, but then had it fail? I'm sure there's a few people who've had Ethereum transactions fail. Well, it does happen, right? And that might be because you're not paying gas, or you might not be routing your order to the right party. But there's a whole industry in this. This term is called MEV, and that's where people are competing to get their transaction into the block. Now, what does this look like? Here's the supply chain. On the left, you have users that submit transactions. It goes into this thing called the mempool, where all transactions sit and settle. And then transactions are pulled out of the mempool by people called searchers, who pull out those transactions. Those searchers then send them to dedicated teams that build the Ethereum blocks. Okay, there's only one block built every 12 seconds, so everybody is competing to build that one block and win that one block. And then lastly, you have the validators that secure the chain and take the block. Now, what does this look like? This is a website called orderflow.art, if you want to check this out, by the team at Flashbots. This is actually quite interesting. This is order flow on the Ethereum blockchain over the past 30 days. On the left, these are all the user orders coming in. In the middle, these are all the people catching those orders and trying to replace those orders or settle those orders or front run or arbitrage those orders. And then you have your mempool where all these orders settle. And then you have the teams here on the right that actually build the blocks, okay? But again, it's a supply chain from users, searchers, solvers, mempool, into the builders. Now, there's a lot of challenges here, okay? And as Google Cloud, we're deep in these conversations, and we work with a lot of customers, and we have expert partners, if you're interested in this space, that can help solve in this area. But some of the challenges that we see when it comes to users is the simple act of doing a Ethereum transaction. Has anyone here performed an Ethereum transaction on a mobile app? Actually bought a coin, okay? This is something where when you press buy, your order might be sent to one provider who then has to route your order to make sure that it gets into the block. Sometimes people actually have order flow where you can privately send your order in, and that person has a business relationship with a block builder to get that block built. Now, along the way, there's all sorts of challenges here from, again, the user routing their orders, getting them in. There's this, the dark forest in the mempool, which is a place where all the orders are open so people can tamper with orders. And when it comes to searchers, these searchers are seeing all the orders come in, and they need to run real-time simulations, real-time insights every 12 seconds to find the best transaction. And then, of course, for builders, they're all competing to build the next block, the one block that will be selected. And this is a very competitive space where these builders are organizing transactions in certain orders to really optimize the best and build the best block. Why is that? Because these builders can pay a fee to the validator to get their block as the official next block in Ethereum. Okay, so there's a lot of things happening here. Now, zooming in very tightly just into the relationship between searchers and builders, this chart here is a 12-second chart, okay? Ethereum builds blocks in 12-second increments. So as time moves on, all these blue dots are all the bids coming into the block builders, and the red dots are the blocks that get accepted by the builder. Now, I know there's a lot going on here, but generally what's happening is people will bid up the price to get their transaction into the block. And it always happens right around 10 to 12 seconds. Okay, so as Ethereum blocks come out every 12 seconds, everybody's bidding, bidding, bidding until the last second of the block, and then they'll spike the value through an auction into the block. It's a complicated space, but this is where a lot of teams are actually making quite a bit of money through arbitrage. A popular term here is the sandwich attack, where if you're buying an NFT, if you see that NFT transaction in the money in the memory pool, you can intercept that transaction, okay? Now, for Google Web3, how do we solve for this? We have a lot of services. We have managed services, both for users, blockchain RPC. It's available now. It's free. You can go to our website. I have a QR code. We also have a managed service, the Blockchain Node Engine, where you can actually run validators or run nodes managed by Google Cloud. And in the middle, we solve for a lot of teams with managed compute engine. We have AI tools. We have BigQuery with historical crypto data. And we have Kubernetes and confidential computing for teams that are building blocks or that are sequencing transactions. Okay, so that's a lot in terms of the main theme here in terms of order flow. Let me get into the next theme, which is composable finance. Now, composable finance is actually quite interesting, and it's mostly interesting for point number 3, which I'll get into, which is agents. But composable finance, to keep it very simple, is really around composable scarcity, okay? Now, we all know that Bitcoin, there's 21 million Bitcoins, okay? There's no more, there's no less. That's why Bitcoin has value. However, the Bitcoin price fluctuates, right, every day. It might be up 1%, might be down 5%, might be up 10%. That's not very stable. And if you're an AI agent, that's very difficult to program, right? Because as an AI agent or as a programmer, you want something stable. So we've seen the rise of real-world assets come out as stablecoins, and these are tokens pegged roughly to the US dollar. And just as of yesterday, the stablecoin market, you have around $215 billion in outstanding supply of stablecoins. Now, I'm not going to get into stablecoins in this talk. If you want to learn more, we actually have our AI portal that you can load, and here's a QR code. We have a Gemini-enabled portal on our website where you can ask it about stablecoins. You can ask about certain types of stablecoins. You can even find out maybe contract addresses for popular stablecoins. You can scan this to learn more. But what's interesting is the use cases that stablecoins unlock. And really where this gets into is when it comes to intents and agents and trusted execution. Now, stepping back a little bit, Web3 has really evolved, okay? From the early days in Web3, 2015, 2016, most times that you would interact with a blockchain was through a command line, okay, or through an API. And this is back when things were much simpler, okay? MEV was called miner extractable value. This is when Bitcoin miners or Ethereum miners for proof of work were all building that next block. But it was a very, I'd say the space was quite simple in terms of the type of sophistication you see on chain. And there were some agents back then, but really these were just trading bots. There's an open source bot called Hummingbot, which is quite popular, where you could run a computer and have it interact like with a Binance API to do your trading. Very simple, okay? Now, in 2022, things changed with Ethereum. And getting into the more broader space where order flow got more sophisticated, you had aggregators and you had proposer builder separation kick in. Now we're getting to this point where, again, now that you have stable coins and different primitives, you have a new form of agentic interactions that you can build upon. And two just quick buzzwords here. Agents, these are things where, again, it's software code that can run, that's characterized, that can pursue its own goals and be proactive. Okay, it's always living on chain. And then intents, you can tell an agent what you want to occur, okay, rather than how to achieve it. So instead of trading yourself, you can give it the intent, hey, buy 1 Ethereum at this price, by this date, and you lock it in a code. Now, let's face it, there are a spectrum of agents, okay, and you have to also be careful in this space. There's 2 types of agents, okay? One agent might actually be an intern somewhere. It's not truly an agent. It might be someone behind a computer screen. And there's other agents that are forming, and the term here is called trusted execution, okay? And at Google, we have something, the confidential compute platform, but these are spaces where through trusted execution, you can find different ways to find integrity, attestability to ensure that whatever code you're running is inside of a protected environment, and this is key. You want to get to a space where your agent is not a bad actor. And there's 2 big themes here in terms of TEs. I'm not going to go too deep here, but you can place smart contracts inside TEs and have a verifiable smart contract. You could even place AMMs or order books and place these inside the TEE computer chip itself and have dark pools. You can have snipe-resistant lending. And the last section here, you can also do block building inside TEs. If you're interested in this, you can check out Flashbot's BuilderNet. This is actually quite interesting, where they're building blocks inside of TEEs. For Google Cloud, we have confidential compute. We're ready, we'd be happy to talk to you if you're interested in the TE space. There's a lot of benefits this can provide. Here's the QR code if you want to learn more in terms of our platform. And if there's any questions, I'll be around after the talk. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you very much, Devin, for giving us a great overview of the key trends from Google Cloud Web3. So moving on is going to be our next keynote presentation on a topic of democratic AI reshaping our world, innovations driving the agentic future. And now without any further ado, I would like to invite Ken, the co-founder and CTO of Homes AI, to come up and share with us. Ken, please.
Thank you.大家好，我叫Ken， 是那个 co-founder of Homes AI 项目的。然后很高兴今天有机会给大家分享一下我们在做整个项目，包括我们近1年来，在参与 AI 还有 Crypto 整个的创业过程中所看到的、所接触到的一些事实，或者是我们看到的一些趋势。然后今天演讲主题是我们 Democratic AI Reshaping Our World。首先我会想让大家思考个问题，就是从2023年以来， OpenAI 的这个ChatGPT 到现在为止，我们认为 AI 是个很强大的技术。到目前为止，但是我们最近1年被频繁问到的一个问题是，为什么我们的 AI 还没有一个 massive adoption 的一个应用，或者除了像 OpenAI、ChatGPT， 或像除了 DeepSeek 以外，我们为什么还没有按我们23年时候想象当中 AI 在我们所有生活的环节、所有的世界的改变上有一些更实在的落地呢？就是这个问题，我最近被问的非常多。然后原因什么呢？原因很多人讲到，比如说算力的问题，对吧？用户场景的问题，还有数据的问题。好像去年我们用于大模型训练数据已经到达一个瓶颈，甚至说文本的数据已经基本上是用完了。当然，我们还有一些视频的数据可以用来做这个大模型的 training。对，所以这个问题就是一直在重复 again 的讨论，就是为什么 AI 还没有在真正的改变了我们的世界？但其实 AI 已经在悄然的改变我们世界。最终我们做了一个结论，看下来的话，就是还是回到本质一个问题，就是我们觉得 AI 现有的大模型仍然是不足够的好，或者是它在解决一些问题上没有解决的那么的好。然后比较大的一点就是说，如果我们 AI 大模型、多模态模型要落地的时候，其实存在一个比较大的问题，就是它的那个大模型幻觉。比如说，在我们一个要求准确性很高的场景，那么你如果70个点的准确性是不够的，对吧？或者是我选择一个多样性的环节，就是类似娱乐的方向，它可以要求不那么的这个大模型的反馈不那么准确。所以其实我们认为就是说，目前的大模型仍在进化当中，仍然是不足够的好。但今年以来，我们看到的一些好的那个趋势啊，比如说，第一点就是 DeepSeek， 对吧？就是今年1年以来，我们一直在讨论 DeepSeek 这个现象级的应用，就是它其实很多人讨论了 DeepSeek R1 的这个launch， 改变了很多我们 AI 这个大模型行业业界开发的一些技术理论。比如说，我们原来一直认为，就是超级 AI 只会在具备算力的几个少数的公司手里，比如说他们有大量的算力，他们有大量优秀的算法工程师，他们有最优秀的 PhD 的数据标记团队，对吧？但是 DeepSeek 他们是一个量化基金背景的研发团队，然后他们只用了$600万的一次性的 AI 训练，就完成整个的训练过程。也相对于同样质量的来说 ，OpenAI 的GPT4，他们是超过了那个$1亿的训练的那个成本。所以其实整个 DeepSeek 给我们 AI 的研发界打了一个很强的那个信心，就是说我们除了去找算力以外，我们还可以有其他的，比如说 DeepSeek 的 MLA 的一些技术，有其他的方向，我们的工程师还能够去努力，就即使在算力被垄断情况下，我们还可以在模型的研发上可以做很大的一些有很多方向的努力。包括现在你可以看到那个 DeepSeek 在某些场景上的一些准确率已经比那个 OpenAI 的已经还要好。但是 DeepSeek 第二点就是 DeepSeek 打破了，其实可以看到就是说它发布过之后，然后英伟达的股价就跌了18个点。但其实我个人觉得 DeepSeek 会促进这个 GPU 的用量会往上涨，只不过是可能它是更低端的一些 GPU， 而不是最高端的算力。所以这个是低端算力的那个增长。但是英伟达股票跌了，当时是一个很大的新闻嘛。然后最重要一点是，其实一点就是说 DeepSeek R1 是纯开源的一个那个模型。其实这个也是大家知道，原来我们觉得 OpenAI 的模型很好，对吧 ？Cloud 很好，然后 Grok 也很好，然后像 Google Gemini 也很好，但是他们都不是开源的。唯一开源就是还仍然坚持开源的，就是 Meta 的 Llama。像前天刚刚 release Llama 4，对吧？他们就是整个我们在过去 Llama 在过去的2年内的所有的 AI 生态圈的最基础的基石。但是 Llama 其实本身它的那个训练成本也很高，但是有 DeepSeek 之后，我们觉得就是未来这种 Llama 闭源的风险已经消失了。还有我们也可以就说你实在要闭源，我们还有一些方案，我们是开源的社区是可以有自己的模型的。当然也有别的团队在持续的去 build 这个开源的模型。这个 DeepSeek， 然后当然就是还有一点就是说，它是以更小的模型来达到了同样的质量的这种准确度，这个也是其中一点比较重要的那个改变。然后第二块就是刚才两个演讲者都聊到了这个Manus， 就是 Manus Agents 框架，就是为什么要聊它呢？就是 Agents 其实我们已经聊了2到3年了，已经这概念一直的在轮转在变，就是到现在为止，包括很多 Web3 上面的 Agents 就是一个 Chatbot， 你跟他聊，可能是有个 IP 背景，比如说是原神的某一个Avatar， 对吧？你可以聊到他认识原神的一些世界背景的东西，你跟他聊很有意思。然后其实 Manus 的一个最重要的点啊，就是除了技术以外，我觉得它是标志着 AI 拥有着自主决策、自主组织、解决长线并且复杂任务的能力。这个是我觉得它是最关键的一点。比如说我们现在大模型的基础模型解决问题仍然不够准确，70个点，对吧？但是我们呢可以通过 again 的对现实世界的信息的那个组织反馈，还有那个去不断的去找那个 API tools 来完成你这个任务。过程当中，它其实是不断提高你的准确率。比较典型的一个 agent 就是一个进化，就是原来我们在 ChatGPT、OpenAI 的时候一问一答，对吧？在后面进化成就是说我问了之后，你可以在联网搜索，其实是 agent 踏出了一步。然后这个相当于这个框架允许你 agent 踏出很多步，就是而且它并且是在框架允许刚才那个前一个演讲者讲了，就是它允许我们开发者去使用多个模型、多个数据源，然后有序的构建一个为用户场景解决问题的能力。像我刚才讲的，为什么 AI 还没有 massive adoption， 对吧？所以就是因为 AI 解决问题还不够好。但是这个其实提供了一个全新的思路，我以现实世界或者多数据源、多模型的能力来去把解决一个问题的质量从70分提高到90分。那么这个 AI 是不是就可以有更多的落地应用场景？这是一个我们看到的Manus 这个框架的一个我们觉得比较重要的一点。然后还有一个就是刚才讲到的是 MCP， 其实 MCP Anthropic 就开源之后我们也很兴奋，就解决了个刚才也其实 ByteDance 跟那个之前也聊了很多，但我们觉得最重要的一点是在我们所有应用开发者或 agent 开发者，包括我们整个 Homes AI 以前提供的这个平台级服务上，我们是以 OpenAI 的协议作为标准。它虽然没有 announce 一个标准，但其实它是事实的标准。就所有的你要提供个 AI 的那个模型的服务，就是你借用 OpenAI 的那个 protocol，OK， 就大家都不用改代码就可以用了。但 Manus 那个MCP 的话，更多是在一个，比如说刚才讲了，我们 agents 会把所有的应用重构，但我觉得就是说 agents 会把我们所有人跟互联网的交互重构，它可能不一定是应用。所以未来就是说，我们去使用一些服务的时候，不再是手机的 app， 也不再是你的电脑的 app， 可能就是一些人机交互。这个机器可能会对你更加的认识。然后 Manus 解决的就是对很多多方的一种数据源、多方的 agent 的沟通的那种问题，比如说我们以后解决一个点餐的问题，然后你对你的 agent 来说，你只要这个 agent 知道你的口味，知道你的种族，知道你的习惯，对吧？我只要知道这个信息就足够好，这个模型不需要很强大、很复杂，它只要懂你就好了。然后它可以去找别的 agent， 找别的数据来去帮你解决的问题。比如说今天中午我要吃个饭，它知道你最近在减脂，它知道你是个那个 vegetarian， 所以它就会帮你找一些素食餐厅，找一些轻热量的餐点，去找另外一个 agent 找这个数据，然后去点菜，对吧？但是 MCP 的话，还有一点就是，它解决了 agent 之间的沟通问题，但没有解决那个就是比如说我为什么要愿意把我的数据源、我的服务放到这个互联网上来？这个是其中一个它没有解决，它是个技术的方案去解决 agent 沟通问题，但是没有解决这种数据有价值数据上到这个 network 里面来，并且解决它这个意愿的问题，所以它整个数据的流通它是没有解决的。OK， 第3点就是其实 AI 在解决那个我们人类的需求，我是以人类需求作为本体来去考虑问题，而不是以 AI 来考虑问题啊。所以其实我们对 AI 的期望，或者对我们的服务的期望是越低越好。比 比如说我对一个机器人的反馈，正常来说，如果是在100毫秒以下，它会给你一个 reaction 的话，这个体验是非常好的。极限到250毫秒，超过2秒之后，它给你反馈，你就觉得这个服务其实没有那么的那个 seamless，就是体验上，但就是所以这里面很大一点就是要靠我们的底层的基础设施，包括我们最早的这种 cloud， 包括 Google、AWS， 还有对吧 Azure 这种集中式的 cloud， 但集中式的 cloud 呢，他们的数据中心或者算力或者服务，其实离我们相对是比较远的，对吧？然后后面进化到一个叫 Fog， 就是可能更靠近一点，然后最好的就是到 Edge， 你的 AI 的算力就是在你的身边，这种的体验其实是最好的。然后也很重要的点就是我们看到，包括像整个 Edge Computing 的这种 platform， 最近的这经过10年发展，其实已经到了一个非常可靠并且具备管理大规模算力的一个能力上，所以这个是解决了我们未来 AI 在 latency 方面的一个优化，解决一个就近算力的问题的一个叫成熟的技术。然后最后就是我刚才讲到几点的那个一个总的那个 AI 的趋势，我们认为第一就是模型 ，OK， 我们现在除了 Llama， 我们还有开源 DeepSeek， 并且我们在$600万这个训练成本下，我们还可能有更多的其他的模型 DeepSeek， 所以解决了这个模型 source 的问题，并且还是 open source 的，我们不用再担忧这个模型被闭源，对吧？然后现在的 Web3上，我们有很多的平台是能够解决模型的那个 ownership， 包括我们的 Home 型还也能够把你的模型注册上来，也可以解决你的 ownership 的问题。就是模型开发完之后，我们是拥有一个链，把它的流转起来，发挥它价值。第二块就是要解决的就是刚才提到的那个数据的 liquidity 的问题，就是为什么我愿意把我的数据那个放到 network 上来，给你的 agent 去使用，来达到一个更高的、更准确的反馈的结果。对吧？这个是我觉得后面有一个是民主，一个是我们 blockchain 能够解决问题，然后还有一个就是技术上的我们要 private process 或 private access 的一个加密安全的问题。第3块我讲的就是刚才讲的 infra， 包括我们的 edge computing， 就是解决了这个就近算力的问题。当然现在我们算力不是说不能用，就是说它可能离我们比较远，然后的 latency 不能做得非常的低，对吧？第4块就是讲到 MCP， 讲到我们以后。如果 agent 爆发的时候，我们有大量的 agent 在网络上，我们觉得 agent 互相沟通的一个问题，它有个标准并且它是开放的，所以这几个趋势看下来，我们觉得整个crypto 加 AI 的趋势是有很多的那个机会。OK， 最后的话就大概讲一下我们的 Homesite 的平台，就是我们整个是一个一站式的decentralized AI online service， 就是我们解决了你模型研发之后，包括你的数据研发了之后、清洗了之后。放到整个我们平台上来，我们对你的模型会做一个 post training， 就是对你的模型 size 做个 post training， 然后尽可能降低你的这个处理成本或部署的费用。然后我们也通过那个blockchain 的技术，然后收集了非常多的那种闲置的 GPU， 然后降低了算力的一个成本。我们还提供一个分布式的那个推理的服务，就是在全球范围内，你可以找到一个离你最近的一个点去部署你的模型，并且获得你的模型的反馈。这个是我们的一个 AI 平台的一部分，然后我们还在底层建了一条我们的 chain， 这条 chain 的话就是让解决刚才每一个拥有算力、拥有模型、拥有 data 的这个 owner 愿意把他的算力、模型还有 data， 然后上到我们的链上来，然后我们通过我们的技术来去组建一个这个完整的 AI service。然后所有的 app 的这个 revenue 啊，可以通过我们链上这个 smart chain 做一个它 revenue 的 share。当然，我们也会设计整个 verify 的机制来验证你的 revenue 跟你的算力的使用、跟你的模型调用，还有你的 data 是不是真的是那个有效的。所以我们整个这个链的这个是生态是在这边。然后还有就是我们也支持staker 去对它比较感兴趣的这种链上的项目做一个 staking。就是 share 这个项目的一些所有的 revenue， 然后同时更大就是解决了这个链上的一些gas 费啊，还有那个的性能的一些问题，包括公链当前的一些性能的问题。OK， 然后这个就是我所有的演讲。OK， 好，谢谢大家。
好，谢谢 Ken 为我们带来很多有关 Democratic AI 的宝贵资讯。So moving on, we're going to invite Amit Kumar Jaiswal and the CTO to come up on stage and share with us. Let's welcome Amit.
Hello. Hi everyone. So today I'll be going to talk about one of our recent key developments that we are building. So Endless Web3 Genesis Cloud. So this is a distributed intelligent component protocol we are building to bridge Web 2 and Web 3, basically making decentralized technology accessible, secure, and also valuable to everyone. So one of the key aims of our building this protocol-grade Web3 infrastructure is not just another blockchain, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to bridge the centralized world of Web 2 and the decentralized promise of Web 3. So you can see that we have some of the key components that we actually developing. So first is we integrated componentized development platform, which is basically containing modular components for users to make Web3 development flexible and also lower the development barriers. For example, managing a smart contract driven Web3 wallets, and also trying to use the different wallets across cross-chain platform. So we developed these modular components that act as a Lego block for developers to use the rich collection of library that we are providing. Also, the second thing is we're doing is improving the Web 2 UX. So basically, adding up functionalities like Google logins, the traditional Web 2 does. And we're trying to also use this OpenID Connect instead of OAuth to basically make the transition effortless. When we are saying we building this intelligent componentized development platform, so intelligent means we try to also leverage AI to basically use the leverage the data on the platform and more user analytics, basically their impressions, and so to drive the this componentized actor. So these are some of the key points when we try to do the transition from Web 2 to Web 3. So first one is this high development barrier. We are actually solving this by this componentized stack, basically the modular framework that we building, and it actually has a large collection of libraries that actually does provide managing different multi-chain wallets, also running any smart contract on the for building decentralized applications. And this is a bit different from how the current Web3 platforms are actually working on. Also, we have this poor user experience in the current Web3 ecosystem. So we're trying to have this focus on the data privacy and security for users. So we are solving this in a way that we keep the privacy and security as our first key aspect for making this transition from Web 2 to Web 3 possible. Also, there's a lack of different, there are many, Web 3 protocols that use or launch DeFi products. So it makes Web 2 developers to kind of adapt to their ecosystem. So we are not following that. We are trying to make the whatever the applications we are putting on our endless infrastructure is to be user-centric, and so that they can co-create value out of it. Also, this many of the protocols and products that are coming on the Web3 side is also has using AI to basically amplify their applications, or more sort of development part. So here what we doing is we also have a focus on how we can basically integrate AI in a way that it can actually simplify users' development aspect. And we can also see that there are like istiefels from the data with the incompatible this technology stack. So here we actually introduce our Inless Web3 Genesis Cloud. So we have these three focus. So we are actually developer oriented. So and we so basically the Web2 people are basically more prone to or reliant on the traditional way of doing development. And now what we're trying to do is like we try to have this capability of modular component to basically drive the this development stack for each of the users and making it secure. So secure here is to basically secure their data. So there's no backdoor. So we do not like kind of like monitor anything on the infrastructure. So user data. And we try to make this user friendly for users to kind of like access or drag and drop options for like integrating their dApps on cross-chain. And you can see that this is the main three core pillars. So our this Web3 infrastructure contains threefold. It's threefold. So we can go from bottom to top. So you can see this decentralized endless infrastructure. So the base is the endless public chain, which kind of like mirrors layer 1 Aptos. And so our the public the base chain is like mainly uses like move and follows Aptos. We do have different customization on the Aptos to have this public chain, and then we have this relay network driving with this public chain, and also a global a distributed global routing node powered by secure data, this decentralized storage, which is kind of like encrypted IPFS end-to-end. So this is the base, our infrastructure layer. Then we stack the this one-stop componentized development platform, which sort of contains Web3 components. So that has a like a rich collection of library, as I said earlier. One for wallets, multi-chain crypto wallets, smart contracts, managing deploying a smart contract on the go. Also for NFTs and DeFi applications. The second thing is we also have one mainstream product that I'll be talking in the coming slides, so which has this AI component. So we also leverage large language models, fine-tuned version, and also we do like have our own fine-tuned version of the pre-trained LLMs for generating text to image, also video generation. So mainly focused on the content creation in the app. Also, this modular component spans from social, gaming, finance, and to name a few. Also, we are looking to integrate the third-party components. So in this componentized development platform, so we are building rich library for third-party actors as well. The other last thing is, as I said, privacy and security are our main focus. So we have this very secure and privacy preserving principle for integrating the component for privacy and security. At the moment, we are also have the integration with cross-chain, so Solana and Ton, and we are also adding other chains as well. Now the third comes the application layer, which kind of leverages this decentralized infrastructure layer and the componentized development platform to develop the decentralized apps in this social fi area, gaming and finance, and so on. Now our main aspect of how this Inless is powering the transition from Web 2 to Web 3 is threefold. So first one is highly performance and fully decentralized infrastructure. Earlier I said that we are using layer 1 Aptos, so we sort of like customize, and we have also modified many of the security cryptographic algorithms and also internal actors. And we added this relay node network as well. So we have like kind of like 0.5 second finality and also 10K plus TPS as well. And apart from that, we also added this distributed global routing node to make this high performant infrastructure, Web3 infrastructure. And the second actor of our development is this componentized development platform, which underpins these modular components and also multi-language support, so Rust, JavaScript, and other languages in the SDK. So user will have the flexibility to kind of like switch across from JavaScript to Rust to Solidity and the other different languages. So we also provide like drag and drop option, and now we are adding up for the cross-chain compatibility as well to support the transition of Web2 developers to make use in a Web3 environment. As I said, the smooth user experience mainly focus on like adding up the traditional Web2 like experience for user. So we have our own sponsored gas fee mechanism that kind of like act as a proxy to basically pay for the whatever the interaction call or execution of the smart contract happens on the chain. Also, we support features like Google like authentication and also some social logins that are more like Web2 centered. So we do like have this in our platform as well to use on Web3. Also, as I said, that how we are using this leveraging AI part basically in our endless infrastructure. So we have this like aim toward AI native blockchain designs. So that focus on basically how we can amplify or automate the actor, which are like automatic execution of smart contracts, and also how we can make the user experience more better. So there we are kind of like using analytics and also insight from the like user impressions, and also like, so we don't use data, but we kind of like leveraging that AI to basically kind of make the automation reachful. And the other thing is like we also have this support for on-chain AI model marketplace that we are adding up at the moment. So this will be within the ecosystem as well, and so on. We will be following up with also running the model inference verification. So something like DAO judger, so it can judge the model which comes on the platform. So whether it is having this like whether it follows our guideline of privacy and security. So just to highlight this one thing, when we say decentralized AI inference verification, it means we kind of like do not want the model data to be exposed to the platform. So if it's a user-owned model, and I think this is already focused. So I think Aptos and SUI, of course, has this multi-signature support. What we did different is we use threshold signature schemes to basically perform a single call to access multi-signature and also single signature accounts as well. So Aptos and SUI does, and we have made changes by using base encoding scheme. I cannot discuss in detail here because of mathematical equations involved. And the other thing is also we have a sponsored gas fee mechanism, so we can have this like a proxy to kind of like deduct the fee for the user. Now you can see the endless ecosystem kind of like as a backbone for the overall stack that powers AI ecosystem. The super dApp, a collection of different dApps in the area of social media, music, and also short video, something like Reel, and also e-commerce. And this like the whole this endless ecosystem kind of like spearheads this different three-actor ecosystem, super dApp, and financial system. This is one of our mainstream product, Lufa. So this is a privacy-preserving, secure, decentralized social fi on endless. So we kind of like have this all the modular components deployed for these as well. So this is publicly available as well. So anyone can have use this to have like one-to-one encrypted conversation, and also As I said, that we do not have any kind of backdoor, so we don't record any data. And it's like goes like a Web2 style of like authentication, and also like Web3 native, like with wallets. And this has a support of multi-chain crypto wallets. And this is something like we also have an option to broadcast with a video call option, and a full-fledged multilingual AI translation in over 100 plus languages, supported by our fine-tuned version of Llama 3. So at the moment, the current issuance of this token is 10 billion, the initial issuance, and we have like 32% goes to ecosystem development, ecosystem and community, and you can see that majority goes to like ecosystem and community, and then 20% to foundation. And this is actually a predefined set, so we actually define. So, but yeah, this is the more like a highlight of how our tokenomics strategy would look like, distribution. And this is the whole picture of how the overall foundation works. So foundation actually contains these two actors, so Endless Team and Endless Lab. Endless Team focus on the core technology, and the Endless Labs focus on the research in cryptography and AI. So they kind of like cater within this foundation, and the foundation actually oversees and also manages the treasury. As I said, it's initial 10 billion issuance. The times is up, so I'll just move forward. So we will be launching the cold start and also the ESA airdrop in the May, and we have a like Lufa program by around August, and we also like doing listing as well. And our core team is like comes from a group with research oriented, so University of Surrey, United Kingdom, and also University of Oxford and University College London. So most of our team are. And we have a close collaboration with OKX, Bitgate, Photor. And so we also have recently launched developer grant programs, 1 million, that will let the user and developers access to our open grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Emmett, for your presentations. So here comes the final presentation before we take the lunch break. And without any further ado, I would like to invite Yunus Giata, co-founder of Monad Foundation, to come up on stage to share with us. Let's welcome Yunus.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Let me go back a little bit. I think we skipped several steps here. Okay. Back to the front. Hi, everyone. I'm Yunus Giarda. I am co-founder and GM of Monad Foundation. By way of quick introduction, if you're not familiar, Monad Foundation is the team behind Monad Blockchain. It is a new EVM L1 that just launched on testnet a little bit over a month ago. So actually, I'll give a little preview on how testnet has been going, but if you haven't checked it out yet, I definitely recommend. There's a place to claim some testnet tokens from the faucet. And again, I'll show you that a little bit later. All right, so to get started, since we're talking about AI today, what exactly is happening with AI on-chain? Well, I think we can kind of bucket it up into three primary categories of what we're seeing right now. There's agents, AI agents that are enacting on a user's behalf, making things very easy and simple and efficient for us. There's LLMs, models. Phrasa AI, for example, was an LLM kind of experiment just to see how humans can interact with an LLM to influence decision-making, for example. And then the last piece is data, because without data, without any input or training data, AI is not really able to do much. So all of these three things are either influenced by crypto on-chain today or have an influence on crypto. So I guess putting it in a different way, what agents bring to chain is utility for users. What LLMs bring on chain is logic, or rather, logic is enabled And lastly, data used for training. Some of the motivations for why AI on-chain, because, well, you know, that's part of the reason for like why we want to understand or how we want to understand use cases on-chain. 3 things again. 3 is a magic number here. Efficiency, opportunity horizon, and it's fun and engaging. For things that are efficient, well, as we had mentioned before, agents, for example, enacting on behalf of users, making things easy for us, allowing us to go to bed and, you know, allowing us to set intents on how to enact on a portfolio, for example, so that we don't need 24/7 coverage, but still have the confidence that, you know, my portfolio is going to do just fine, even if there's like crazy market movements while I'm sleeping. The opportunity horizon, there's a lot that we can do on-chain. There is a lot of data on-chain that is not sufficiently captured and utilized. And you know, there's certainly an opportunity to make improvements in both small and big ways all at once. Beyond that, data on-chain is permissionless. It is, and also anyone is able to contribute to it. So not only is there access to data on-chain, there's also access to provide data on-chain as well. And then lastly is the fun and engaging piece, which I think is the more exciting aspect of what makes, you know, blockchain as fun as it is. There's already a captive audience. We already know that there's a ton of DeFi users in this space, and with AI, it's branching out not just with like I don't even know how to say it, DeFi, as well as other types of AI use cases too. So I think I'm spending a little too much time on these slides here. Closing the chasm. AI and crypto are pretty synergistic. The way that AI can help with crypto adoption, so can crypto adoption help with AI. There's synergistic benefits here. So from an AI perspective, how does AI benefit crypto? Well, we talked a lot about bringing on board more efficient, more exciting experiences. So efficient on-chain transactions or seamless transactions enacting on a user's behalf, not having to fumble around with you know, wallet approvals or whatnot. Guided asset management in a similar case, and things that are just fun and interactive. Lastly, there's also the generative aspect of it, where AI can generate NFTs, for example, or AI-enabled prediction markets that can help settle prediction markets live. And then on the other side of things, okay, well, how does crypto benefit AI? There's a couple of very key aspects of, key traits of blockchain technology that lends itself very well to AI. Immutability is one. So, you know, strict guarantee of data and state on chain. It's a core tenet to blockchain technology. The ledger is immutable. That's why, you know, that's why it is as powerful as it is. From a security aspect, a distributed, decentralized, reliable, and trustless network, knowing that I don't have to put all of my marbles in one basket and trust a single entity. And then the accessibility perspective is honestly quite similar here. Permissionless, open access, and verifiable across various data sets. However, not all of these are inherently guaranteed. Immutability, as we had mentioned, is core to the blockchain core tenets. Security and accessibility, however, I mean, we're all familiar with the blockchain trilemma. Not all of this is an assumed guarantee. So if it's not a guarantee, what does the landscape look like? All right, so let's take a look here. I put together a very rough matrix of the 3 traits that we just covered, along with some of the possible solutions. We have L1s, like Ethereum, Solana, Monad, and then L2s and rollups as an alternative form of a platform. I'm adding here 2 additional traits as well, scalability and speed, because these are the other 2 attributes that are frequently talked about with the blockchain trilemma, being security, scalability, and speed, and is also important from an AI perspective as well. All right, so from an immutability standpoint, as we had mentioned, it is a core property of blockchain tech. So check, we've got them both. However, for security, L1s offer security. It offers a form of decentralized, trustless network, but that's not always the case with L2s and rollups, especially those with a centralized sequencer. Accessibility is the same thing. And honestly, sometimes not even granted with L1s. L1s oftentimes are permissionless, but sometimes they are permissioned. And on the flip side, however, in lieu of offering scalability and accessibility, sometimes L1s struggle with being efficient about the scalability and the speed aspects of these traits. Now, not all blockchains are created equal, so I am flashing up here Monad and how Monad stacks up. So Monad, as an L1, we're going to just assume all of the properties of immutability, security, and accessibility. But beyond that, there is also a scalability and speed component that the blockchain is able to deliver. Now, I'm sure you're curious about why. What is the exception here? Well, we'll talk about the key optimizations for why Monad is impactful for AI. All right, so here is the Monad stack, so to speak. There's 4 primary optimizations that this blockchain is bringing to market. The first of which is asynchronous execution. Asynchronous execution, and we'll deep dive into all of these in just a bit, will deliver us more efficient computation, in which case will lead to more transactions on chain. For parallelized execution, parallelized execution, this is a more optimized way of resource allocation, and therefore also allowing for a greater number of transactions on chain. MonadDB is a custom-built database, and this custom-built database is specific to the database structure that is required for EVM, which is the Merkle-Patricia tree. In doing so, there's better state storage, data retrieval, reads and writes. And then MonadBFT is the consensus mechanism. The team behind, Category Labs is building the Monad blockchain client, and they actually released a paper just a couple of days ago about the new MonadBFT. And in this new MonadBFT, it is an even more performant version of communication across the network, which allows for greater network scale and reliability. Okay, so again, in summary, scale and speed. All right, so diving deeper a little bit into asynchronous execution. So most blockchains have interleaved execution and consensus within blocks. The reason why this is inefficient is because consensus is expensive. Consensus is, literally like one node talking to another, and all across the world having to come to agreement. It takes a lot of time. So with Optimus asynchronous execution, it allows for more time for execution, more time for transactions per block. So this here kind of shows, let's just assume like these two, this blue block here is execution, the orange one is consensus, and those two combined are representative of a single block. And so in a traditional case, both things need to happen before the next block and the next block and the next block. And you can see that the time budget for consensus takes up a ton. It's, in Ethereum's case, over 99% of the time is spent on consensus than it is on execution, which is extremely inefficient. So with asynchronous execution, the proposal is to pull out execution from the hot path of block production. So consensus can continue on, and execution can happen separately. We'll talk a little bit more about how this is the case in the next feature as well. So the reason why asynchronous execution is triply powerful is that when you pull out the execution from the hot path of block production, you can actually utilize the full block time here for execution. So instead of just that tiny sliver of time used for execution, now we can use it for the entire time budget allocated to a given block. Parallel execution, this is kind of where I'm getting into even more speed ups here. Historically, blockchains have executed serially, which means one transaction after the next, which maintains ordering. However, in parallel execution, we do the same by, but utilize more of the machine's resources, being more efficient with scheduling and also running rescheduling conflicts if needed. So really quick here, let's just assume that this is our list of ordered transactions. We're gonna zoom into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. In a typical way of serially executing transactions, 1 would be scheduled before 2, before 3, 4, 5 here. Now, the blocks here kind of indicate the time it takes to execute transactions, since not all transactions require the same level of computation. Some require more, some require less. What is being proposed with parallel execution is to split them up across different resources. So in this example, let's say that we have 3 threads. A lot of our machines today are multi-threaded. Why not use all of those threads? And so here, we've basically allocated transaction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 accordingly with the resources available at any given time. I'm going to speed through here, but this is also kind of an example of like, well, what happens if there's a conflict? Because the way that this is written is there's a conflict between 3 and 1, where 3 is dependent on 1. So if it needs to be committed specifically in this order. In this case, 1 is fine to be committed because there's no prereqs. 2 is fine because there's nothing that's required prior to it. But 3, however, in optimistic execution, there is a bit of a conflict here. Again, I'm sorry, I only have 2 minutes, so I'm going to breeze through here and kind of show that like this would be re-executed, re-updated, and then happy path. All right, MonadDB is the third optimization. So as I had mentioned, this is a redesign of the database specific for blockchain schematics. This here is an example of what the Merkle-Patricia tree looks like. It's honestly complicated. There's a lot of hashing at every single level. There's like 16 children per level. And it's not super ideal for commoditized hardware, for commoditized databases. So MonadDB solves for that by building it from scratch. And then lastly, MonadBFT, as I mentioned, is a new fast consensus mechanism with linear complexity. This is pretty massive when it comes to communication across like various nodes around the world. Linear complexity is hard. So efficient block propagation with erasure coding. Larger sizes means more data. All right, so all of this basically means that a lot of the monad optimizations are good for AI. 45 seconds here. Okay, so we're gonna speed through to testnet. I just wanted to flash this here. So testnet.monad.xyz is where you can go and find information on how to grab some testnet tokens and play around with different applications that are deployed. There's over 200 total projects deployed, and of them about a little over 20 AI projects right now. This is a permissionless network, which means any project, any AI agent, any AI team can go ahead and publish on-chain to the Monad testnet. And lastly, just for fun, gomonads.com is like a live view of the network. This is not live because it's a screenshot, but if you go to gomonads.com right now, you can actually see live stats and the performance of the Monad testnet on-chain. And that is it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Eunice, for giving us a quick overview of monads. So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a lunch break right now, and the afternoon sessions will begin at 2 p.m. sharp. So please enjoy your lunch, and I'll see you very soon. 各位来宾，我们现在会有个午休的时间，那么下午的环节会在2点钟准时开始，待会见。